The Sustainable Development Goals actually up the game for the WASH community. Before we were just talking about basic services, but now for water, we're saying safe water and we're saying affordable water. This is a huge additional challenge. Then for sanitation, we didn't even reach the Millennium Development Goal for sanitation, which was just to get to increase by half the people who had access to basic services. And we didn't even reach that. 2.4 million people still lack access to sanitation. But now we're saying we're going to end open defecation and we're going to have safely managed feces. So now we're talking 5 million people that we need to help get access to safely managed sanitation. I would argue that we need to start working more and more with governments and start addressing enabling environment, capacity of national government employees, capacity of those health workers at the local level, creating monitoring systems that can track really what is actually going on the ground and what are the successes and where are the barriers, and having policies in place that really make sure we are focusing on those with NTDs, that the poorest billion. We often don't talk about education anymore, hygiene education, but really about hygiene promotion or changing social norms and truly changing behavior. And that takes not just an education campaign or even a behavior change communication campaign, but somehow changing habits. How can we make this so that it's not something you're thinking about anymore and you're actually making a conscious effort to do, but how can we make this be an automatic thing that automatically happens? And that's what the WASH industry is more and more moving towards. How do we create habits? We as a sector are learning. We learned in the past some of our old methodologies didn't work. For example, subsidies might work, but giving everyone a toilet didn't work. People weren't using it. Let's not just go into one village and build them a drinking water supply. No, instead let's work with that local district engineer who's going to live there his whole life and enable him to build and work with the community together to map out where are the best water sources, how can we design this. So I think we as a whole WASH industry have learned over time some important lessons like that, using the district, working with government institutions that exist that might be more sustainable. And so while there aren't best practices, there are better practices. We have now a new focus on inclusion. And when I say inclusion, that means, gender, age, disability, migrant status. We need to make sure that we're specifically including each of those audiences and listening to what that target audience needs and then addressing their needs. When you're, for example, doing a transact walk across a village looking for open defecation, have a different walk with young women so that you can find out what are their needs and how can you address them. Listen to maybe a group of children as they walk across. What are their fears? Sometimes young children are the least likely to use a toilet, even when the household has one. It's a dark, dank, kind of scary place, occasionally with snakes. So you need to listen to the concerns of each target group and then find what kind of benefits and solutions that target group themselves finds about how they can contribute to being part of the solution.